When the whole family comes together to watch the game, nobody wants to miss a second of the action to run to the grocery store. With Instacart, you can get all your weekly groceries in as fast as an hour. Less time shopping means more game time. Let's go. Visit instacart.com to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.
This is GoPowerCat.com publisher Tim Fitzgerald with great news to share with our valued 24/7 Sports VIP members. As a way of saying thank you, a subscription to a CBS All-Access commercial-free plan is now included with your 24/7 Sports VIP membership at no additional cost. Watch all of your favorite shows on demand along with exclusive access to GoPowerCat's award-winning and one-of-a-kind coverage of Kansas State sports. Stream more than 10,000 episodes, all access originals, and live TV, including NFL on CBS games. Enjoy the CBS All Access commercial-free plan, a $99.99 annual value for the lifetime of your 24/7 Sports VIP membership. It's an incredible added value for our subscribers, and it's time you probably take advantage of this deal and become a GoPowerCat member. And remember to subscribe to the Powercat Podcast at your favorite podcast provider, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Now, here is your Powercat Podcast.
The following is a GoPowerCat.com and Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to GoPowerCat.com's Tannahill and Spiller Powercat Podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor, and it starts right now. Now let's go to the WTC Gig-Powered Studios. Here are your hosts, former K-State tight end Travis Tannahill and former Wildcat safety Monte Spiller.
Welcome to this week's Tannahill and Spiller podcast after a big Wildcat victory down the road there in Lawrence, Kansas. So, first off, I always like to touch base on the high school football. Yeah. Unfortunately, I've heard you guys couldn't pull it out, so the season's over. So sorry. Yeah. Condolences. Yeah. I know that's always tough, but give us the little the 30-second rundown of what happened on Friday night.
We faced a tough Cheney team, very well coached. It's kind of funny, ironic. We knew going into the game that they were going to be a tough task. The week before, they played the number 1 team in the state, Andale, at Andale, and took Andale to overtime. So we knew it was going to be a task. You know, they won the toss, chose to take the ball, and me being a defensive coordinator, I basically got our guys together and said, hey, that's a slap in your face. What are you going to do? And our defense kind of rose to the occasion. First drive, they had one good play. We held them. They got the ball first and goal, and we stopped them, shut them out, and forced them to a field goal. And we had a lot of good plays, but their talent, and they're a senior-heavy team, very well coached, and it just kind of took over. And you can see the experience that we lacked as a unit kind of played a crucial part, but kudos to them. And it's ironic, I hate losing, but I'm happy for Cheney. They're coached by a former K-State linebacker, Shelby Werman. He's a Derby product. His brother Casey and Shelby both came from Derby and played K-State football. But no, Shelby Werman is now the head coach at Cheney, and he's a Derby product. So good luck to him, and hopefully they have success moving forward. But I was very happy with the season. Kudos to Rock Creek High School and Coach Sieben, and I look forward to next season. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, because that was first season for you at DC, right?
Yep, that's
awesome.
Correct. Head coach and new staff. So
new staff, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So good first season, getting that program heading back in the upward trajectory. So that'll be exciting to watch. Obviously, Manhattan's still in it.
Yep, Manhattan's still
did
doing
Wamego
well.
win?
Wamego lost. They lost to who did they play? I want to say it wasn't Sabetha. I can't remember.
That's all right.
But they had a great season too as well. Lost some key components late, but still. It's high school football.
Yeah, rounding out Zimmerman over in JC. How'd they do?
They're still in it. Still in it. Yep. So good luck to Manhattan and good luck to JC moving forward.
And those are the two programs that always make deep playoff runs, it seems like. So let's get a couple of these other programs in there as well. So obviously that's Monte Spiller speaking on the other mic. Didn't do a very good job introducing you. Sorry, but hopefully if you're sticking with us, you've been with us a couple times now, so you know our voices by now. But K-State versus KU. Man, you got a big old grin on your face over there.
I got a question for you. Who is K-State?
Shoot. K-State is the 11 times in a row victor over Kansas.
Yeah, it's so funny because the whole time I could just see looks on the players' faces. I didn't go to the game. I stayed home and watched it, and it's one of those things where I saw a few signs in the stands where people were kind of mocking KU and Coach Miles. And, after their big victory last week against Texas Tech, he was in the locker room. And if you're a K-State fan, you saw the video and him basically saying, who do we got next? And him saying, who is K-State? Who is K-State? And I think our players kind of showed him who was K-State. And it was kind of funny after the game. A lot of people were posting on social media, and they kind of piggybacked on that statement. But I think he knows who K-State is now.
Yeah, no, welcome to the Big 12, Les.
Yeah,
and I don't know. We talked a little bit last week, obviously, and this was the most nervous I'd been for a KU game in a decade. But I talk so much crap to all my friends who went to KU because I grew up in Kansas City, so half my class went to KU and half my class went to K-State, and so 4, 5, 6 of my best guy friends from high school are diehard KUers, and so I still kept the crap talking up.
Of course.
And so I'm very, very thankful that K-State won, and I know that time's coming. In my lifetime, we're going to lose to them.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. Every year that goes by, it's just as good of a feeling. And this year was almost even better.
Yeah,
because usually they don't even talk back because they know they're going to get killed. Yeah. This year, they actually had a little bit of hope.
Yeah,
and it was even a little more fun and even in the fashion we did win, which was just total domination. It was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun watching it. I had the opportunity to go to the game, but I got home late from our game Friday night and had some stuff to do at the office, and I was just tired. So I watched it from home. I'm kind of like you. I want to be by myself, not bothered, be able to yell at the TV when I want to, and just kind of enjoy it. But it's one of those situations where watching the game, and the cameras catch some of the chatter back and forth of the KU players and the K-State players, and it's one of those situations where, like you said, the KU players were confident. I'm not sure if it was a false confidence. They put up that persona so they couldn't be seen. Because I think K-State knew after that first drive what was going to come of the game.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those things also, and I kind of touched on it last time we spoke. We were here. The quarterback, he hadn't seen a D-line.
No.
Like K-State, and he didn't have a whole lot of time to sit back in the pocket and just pick apart the defense like he did against Tech and Texas. So I was confident, and it's easy for me to say now that the week has passed, but I was confident after the first drive we were going to win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned that defensive line, and, man, that D-line's been stellar for this Kansas State team. That O-line's been hit or miss. They played really well the last 2 weeks. Hopefully they can keep that up next week going into Texas. But before this season, I don't know, doing a show or a podcast or somewhere, but we talked about that K-State defensive line. I think it was Reggie Walker who had the quote saying he thought they were the best D-line in the Big 12. And I was like, whoa, that's a bold statement. Well, let's slow down a little bit here.
Right, yeah.
We didn't make a bowl game last year, guys. And so, and I was like, they'll be good. They'll probably be the strength of that defense, and they'll be a top 2, 3, 4 defensive line in the Big 12. But I think they have a very good argument for the best D-line in the Big 12. I mean, statistically, they're deep. They got 4, 5, 6 guys that can get to the quarterback. So that D-line is just playing lights out, and they're fun to see. And I thought that was going to be the biggest difference on that KU game would be D-line versus O-line of KU and Carter Stanley. And if we can't get to him, Carter Stanley is going to be able to do some things, but we were able to get to him again 2 weeks in a row.
We were, and that puts linebackers have been playing lights out, secondary has been playing lights out, and it starts up front because a lot of times, I don't care how good of a linebacker core you have, how good of a secondary you have, if the D-line can't get pressure on them, you can't cover forever. And our D-line should get more kudos, more respect, and I'm pretty sure the Big 12 has taken notice. These guys get to the ball, and they're not just getting to the ball and, sacking a quarterback. They're punishing quarterbacks. Yeah. They're punishing running backs. And speaking of running backs, we shut down Puka Williams. It was like he was every game prior, a lot of teams focus on putting a spy on him, triple teaming him, doing what we did. shut them down, and we were physical with them. Guy's still a great running back, don't get me wrong, but the look, you could see the frustration in his face late in the game.
Yeah, and I know his game is so much. He's a really good running back out of the backfield catching passes. I think that's probably his better strong suit of his game. And Carter Stanley just wasn't able to throw the ball, so he wasn't able to hit those leaks, and they'll put him out on regular pass routes as well. So, Puka's stat line: 14 for 61, 4.4 yard average. I mean, that's a below average day for him, and that whole defense kind of swallowed him up. Carter Stanley going 13 for 23, 115 yards, 2 INTs. That's a bad day no matter where you're at. So that defense stepped up and rose to the occasion. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, because I was never really motivated, or never really even I wasn't a talker. I just kind of did my thing and went back to the huddle and won a lot of football games. Like, that's just kind of who I am as a personality, who I am as a guy. And nothing against Jaron Mastrud, the tight end before me. He loved to talk. Like, that motivated him. He was like, he's if I can get in that guy's head and dominate. I'm like, why would I want to make this DN any more mad at me? Like, I want him to be taking plays off. And so I can appreciate that art of talking. And sometimes I think some of the older generation fans thinks it's like super disrespectful. And it's like, no, like, it's just fun. It's fun. Like, it's just a game out there, and everyone knows that. It's not like personal. And so what's your thoughts on, one, K-State and KU are both talking a little bit back to each other, probably a little more than we've seen K-State do in the past. And two, the penalties, not the holdings, but more the personal foul stuff, kind of the undisciplined showboating, you could say. Yeah. Some of that discipline stuff that happened on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the penalties didn't hurt us, and the game wasn't close enough to hurt us. I think if it was a closer game, I would have been a little more concerned. But given the status of the game, new head coach for KU, new head coach for us, the end of the game for Texas Tech when Les Miles is saying, who is K-State? And I guarantee our guys probably saw that video umpteen times during the week for preparation, and I guarantee they took it upon themselves to let KU and Coach Miles know who K-State were, who we are. And I'm thinking it's a rival game. People are talking. A lot of media was picking KU to win the game, and
which blew my mind.
Yeah,
I was like,
crazy.
Guys, come on.
Yeah, no, right? And our guys, they read them. They read the paper. They see the media, and I guarantee they took it personal, which they should. And when they made a play, they reminded KU, hey, we're still big brother. And I think a lot of the emotion came from that week building up into the game. Now, moving forward, I hope the penalties decrease dramatically, and I hope our guys keep their fire, but be smart about what you do prior to a play, after the play, or during the play. But the physicality, you can see it was there. And in K-State's been playing physical the last couple of games, but there was a little bit extra. Every time they hit the quarterback, every time they hit the receiver, we got guys down, but it was a little bit extra every time, which I loved it.
Yeah, no, it was fun to watch. And two, I saw a lot of griping and complaining on Twitter about the penalties, but man, you could go back and watch them, and most of them were legit. I was like, oh yeah, that was a pretty bad hold. Yep, yeah, he definitely spun that ball. You can't do that.
Yep.
And we didn't catch on the TV broadcast. I just watched it at home as well. The Trotter personal foul after a touchdown, I believe. They didn't show a replay of that, so I don't know if that was legit or not. Yeah. But the Jerron McPherson interception, spinning the ball up right in front of KU's sideline. Yeah. Some fans were like, that's not a penalty. I was like, guys, that's a penalty every day of the week and twice on Saturdays. Yeah. It's like, come on.
And the funny thing about it, he looked at the official before he did it, and as soon as the official turned his back, he spun it and licked the KU sideline. If I was a D-back coach, in front of the media, I would have been up, quote unquote, upset, but behind closed door, I would have high-fived the guy like, hey, great.
Made a heck of a play.
Great play.
And that's what the camera followed him along the sideline a little bit, and you saw him get to there, and I think he didn't know he got a penalty yet, and someone told him, and you saw him get all sad, and then the camera came to him 60 seconds later, and he was celebrating with the sledgehammer and whatnot. So I was like, all right, he's fine. Playmakers making plays and having fun, and I do think too. I mean, fourth quarter. Yeah. tight ball game, like, they're smart enough. They're not doing that.
They're not going to do it.
They knew after a couple drives, like, all right, we got these guys.
Yeah.
Let's make some plays and have some fun.
They absolutely did know. Hey, let's go into another storyline. We can kind of touch on it real quick. Deneen, there were 2 Deneens on the field, one for K-State and one for KU. And I think, and I'm hoping he's okay. I haven't heard the linebacker for KU. I think his little brother cut him and possibly took him out of the game. Obviously, it wasn't intentional. It's a rivalry, but blood is thicker than water, and so I'm pretty sure he didn't intend to hurt his big brother by any means. But it's kind of fun to see brothers kind of battle each other, and it's funny where you want to say, hey, our Deneen picked the right school, but that was kind of cool to see. And tell me your thoughts on the last couple of weeks, but definitely Saturday's game. Skyler's moves, man. He's been a good runner, but a couple of moves in open field. The one where he, the announcer was like, "You don't expect that from a 6'2" quarterback to basically break a guy's ankle in the middle of
bad.
What were you thinking when you saw that?
Shoot, I mean, it's funny because he's not super elusive, but he's just elusive enough and just fast enough. And when he gets in that open field, and he's smart about it. Yeah. Like, that wasn't some crazy athletic, crazy move. He just set the guy up right and, had a tackler in space one-on-one and just a little sidestep, and he only moved like a foot, maybe 2 feet. And next thing you know, that guy's looking like a fool. And I saw like Barstool tweeted it, and a couple of the big Twitter accounts got onto that, and we're roasting that DB. And yeah, that was fun to watch. We'll stay on Skyler then. Fun. I mean, honestly, he played well enough throwing the ball, but he didn't even need to.
He didn't need to.
We didn't even need to.
And it's funny, when we attempted to throw the ball, I think KU had so many guys drop deep, and they did a good job of covering. He didn't panic. He kept his eyes downfield. Even when I thought he was sacked, he got out of the sack, spun away, and found Sean on the sideline for a first down. It was like a 3rd and long. And I was like, that guy, Skyler's playing so confident. Yeah. And it's like he's seeing the whole field, which is going to be needed moving forward. But the coaches, the team, running backs, receivers, everybody is kind of on one accord, and they're playing quality ball.
Yeah. Skyler, 9 for 16, 129 in the passing game. I mean, that's probably a disappointing day if I'm Skyler Thompson, and some things to work on. Not terrible, but took care of the football. Mm-hmm. Always a positive. So I'd love to see that average up a little bit. But I mean, 17 carries, 127 yards, 7.5 yards per carry, and 3 touchdowns. So on the ground, effective.
That's 7 touchdowns in 2 games? Didn't he have 4 last week?
I'm not 100% sure.
But he had at least 3.
Yeah, at least 3.
So at least maybe 6 or 7 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns.
Shoot.
Man,
and some big third downs. Yeah. I mean, especially the first couple drives in the first quarter when when the game wasn't out of hand yet, and we're like, we're still playing. And a lot of third downs, picking up big third downs. There was that one play where he basically got sacked, but he kind of pump faked the guy, which I don't know what that defender was doing. Yeah. and then scrambled for I think we were 3rd and long in that situation.
Right.
Overall, I mean, just fun ball game to watch if you're Kansas State faithful, and I love that those guys get to feel that experience of beating their in-state rival in a big ball game. I mean, I know those were always some of the most fun games I played in were against KU. So
I agree. And it was good to see, and it's so funny because if you're not a Kansan or have some affiliation with K-State and KU, the media was talking about, TV was talking about, first home sellout in so many years, and I'm thinking like 50% are K-State people.
No, it was. I don't think it was 50, but it was darn close.
Yeah. And good for our fans, and they travel well, and the weather was nice. So, like I said last time, kudos to the K-State faithful, the K-State family. I hope the guys understand how great of a fan base we have, and it was awesome to see the fans show up and get loud in Lawrence. So that was just awesome. Yeah,
that was fun, and they need some ticket revenues because I think they're still paying Charlie Weiss, Turner Gill, David Beatty. Anyone else I'm missing?
Maybe Glenn Mason too. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think Charlie Weiss is probably off the payroll by now. He's got it. I mean, it's been a good decade.
It's been some years, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Mangino's still getting paid. Who knows? One last thing on the KU game, then we'll transition over to Texas real quick. One thing I just wanted to point out, make mention of was I talked to quite a few people that were at the game, and not knocking on KU, but more bragging up on Gene Taylor and what he's done with that fan experience at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. I mean, I had so many people that don't get to travel to a lot of away games. That was their first time in Memorial Stadium. And they're like, man, like, we're spoiled.
Yeah.
like our concessions are like everything. Concessions are better, parking's better, tailgate experience is better, and I just think it's important to appreciate that and realize the job that Gene Taylor and his staff has done to create such an exceptional fan experience, not just in the Big 12, in the country.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've been to multiple places throughout the country, some of these top 5 programs year in, year out, and, they got some really, really good football teams, but sometimes their fan experience is just okay. Yeah. And they've put in a lot of resources and money into that Bill Snyder Family Stadium. So, Gene Taylor, thanks for keeping that stadium as beautiful as it is and making it fun on Saturdays for us to be there. And Coach Kleiman, thanks for putting a good product on the field, because without a good product, as we know, I'm not going to football games.
You and me both. I can be a fan. I'm going to stay home and watch and cheer from home and hope. But if we're not winning, it's tough to get out to a football game, especially when you get into November and it's Kansas and it gets cold and you're like, I want to go, but I can stay home inside where it's warm. And going back to the fan experience, how many teams have live in-game updates? Not many.
Oh, yeah.
Not many. So K-State, we're ahead of a lot of people. And we're going to finish up with the KU game, but transitioning into Texas. But with that KU win, there's a lot that we should be excited about. For one, we beat KU for the 11th straight time. 11 in a row.
That's like almost half my life.
That's it, right?
Not quite. We're not, a third of my life.
Exactly. We moved, I believe, to third place in the Big 12, third or fourth in the Big 12.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, and then I'll circle back.
Yep. And also, we're bowl eligible.
Huge, big time. And I don't want to look too far ahead because we still got some quality teams. But if we keep playing like we do, and say we win out. Let's say we win out. Oklahoma has yet to play Baylor, Oklahoma State as well, which are both going to be tough games. Say if Oklahoma loses one more game, say they lose to Baylor, just hypothetically speaking, and we win out, and we got the head-to-head to Oklahoma, that puts us in the Big 12 championship, possibly with a rematch against Baylor. Yeah.
How awesome. And we're playing a lot better now than we did against Baylor. And not knocking Baylor because they're 8-0. But they struggled against West Virginia a couple of weeks ago in a Thursday night game, I believe, at home and barely walked away. So we got momentum going.
And that was against West Virginia, too, which is
they're not very good.
Ball team. But.
And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's hard not to get excited about the possibility. Go ahead. You were going to say something?
Well, no, I was going to bring up that's exactly what I was going to bring up about if OU loses to Baylor, then OU's a 2-loss team, K-State's a 2-loss team. We got the head-to-head tiebreaker. Man. So, Stan Weber on the radio postgame show actually brought that up, and I was like, no, there's no way. Stan's wrong. No. I looked it up. I was like, oh, dang, Stan's right.
We got a chance.
Like, we got a chance. And not gonna, not to look too far, but probably Texas is our
it's the scariest one right now.
It's our toughest opponent
on the road.
For the rest of the season. And so it's like, if we can get by with this week, man.
Seriously.
Shoot.
Yeah, and we get healthy. And real quick, I said I want to go back to KU game, but kudos to the running backs, Trotter, the other guys that got in that stepped up with Brown being out and Gilbert being out. The other guys stepped up and didn't miss a beat. Those guys ran hard, so I'm glad the young guys got a chance to kind of show their skill and let people know, hey, our O-line is the real deal, and anybody can run behind those guys. So kudos to those young guys, too.
Yeah, I think overall, in summary, down our number 1 and 2 running backs. I think Brown maybe got 2 carries, but he couldn't go 100,000 yards of penalties. Some of them were stupid. All of them were stupid. And we still smoked them. So we still embarrassed them on their own field. So, if that's not like the best day, the best Saturday of the year, I don't know what is.
Man, it was a good day. It was a good day.
Good day. All right, transitioning over to Texas, down in Austin. First off, who we got down there? Coach Coleman's down there.
Yeah, Dre's down there.
Anyone else down there?
Trying to think if any other K-Staters are in Texas. Not to my knowledge, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think Dre's the only one down there.
He might be the only one because a couple of them went to Okie State, but I think Dre's the only one in Texas. And Dre's my guy. Had the opportunity to play with him. I went against him a ton of time in practice because I was a freshman. He was a starter, and I was on the scout team, and he kind of showed me why he was a high draft pick in the NFL early and often. The guy could fly.
He could play.
He could play. He was a player, and Dre always made you better. But Texas, I'm a Texas guy. I'm from Dallas, and I know K-State has a hate for Texas, which I totally understand and have no problem with that. And Texas is down right now, but they still scare me a little bit because they're hurting, but they still have talent. And I think they understand the significance of this game, not because it's K-State, but because if they lose this game at home, the rest of their schedule is not the most friendly per se as far as them getting bowl eligible or going to a decent bowl. I think their hopes of a Big 12 championship is probably not as great as it was initially, but I think they're desperate and they're going to play, and that's what scares me. A desperate team.
Backs up against the wall. I mean,
that scares me. That scares me a little bit.
Yeah, and two, I mean, they're just so dang talented. That's what always I hated playing Texas, just because depending on the year, like sometimes that DN's like a first-round draft pick, and I'm like, man, I got like a first-round draft pick, and then other times like he's a not NFL caliber player who's kind of lazy, and it's like, well, all right, this year's gonna be a good year.
Take it to him.
And so it's just like it's crazy how varied that team can be. And the thing that worries me about Texas, too, is they're coming off a bye week.
Yeah.
So they had the week off. Guys should be a little healthier, a little extra time to prepare for Kansas State. But who would have thought, beginning of the year, I'll look up next time. I'll look up here what they started the preseason at. Were they top 10, top 15?
I want to say they were elite. They were top 15 for sure.
Yeah, top 15. I'll look up for sure.
Maybe top 10, but definitely.
Who would have thought that K-State would be coming in at number 20 and Texas is unranked?
What did they pick us preseason? 9, 8?
9 in the Big 12.
9 in the Big 12?
Yeah.
So
I think ahead of KU. I think it was 8, 9. West Virginia, K-State, KU, I think 8, 9, 10.
Gotcha, yeah. So, and that just goes to show, hey, what does the media know?
Shoot, yeah.
But it's not basically how you start, it's how you finish. And I understand why we were picked 9th in the Big 12, new staff. A lot of people didn't have a whole lot of faith in coaching this staff coming from North Dakota State. But regardless of what level you play, football is football, X's and O's. And if you're good at it and if you have a great staff around you and kids buy into it like they have bought into it now, it shows, We're sitting at 6-2. Number 20 in the nation, with a great opportunity in front of us, and we're going bowling. I don't know where we're going to go bowling at, but it's a great opportunity, and I think the community, former players, current players, family members, alumni, they bought in, and if you haven't, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, exactly. If you're not bought into this team and this staff, we need to have some words. But yeah, Texas ranked number 10 preseason, which I mean, honestly, and I didn't disagree with that ranking in the preseason. I was like, shoot, that's a super talented team.
They killed Georgia.
Went to the Sugar Bowl. Sugar Bowl last year. Beat a really good Georgia team with Jake Fromm over there. So it's like they had the postseason resume last year to justify that. And they're always, when you look at the recruiting ratings, I mean, they average, like a 4.9 star out of 5. Not literally, but might as well be because they get some studs down there. So it's it's a nerve-wracking game for me just because I know from what we've seen from the staff, they're going to put their guys in the best position possible. Mm-hmm. They're going to get them coached up well enough, and guys are going to be doing what they're supposed to do, and they're going to understand the system, and they're going to understand the game plan. Mm-hmm. But sometimes that talent level, that talent gap is just too big to overcome.
Right.
I thought we were going to see that against Oklahoma, and we didn't.
Yeah.
So either this Kansas State team has a few more players than I'm giving them credit for.
Right.
And two, I think, though, as you know, I mean, our wide receivers to their DBs, I'm sure they got the edge. Their wide receivers to our DBs, I'm sure they got the edge. But up front, the D-line and the O-line, as we know, that's what matters.
Yeah.
And I think we'll have them there. And at the end of the day, they might have us at a couple other spots, but our front guys versus their front guys, and if K-State, again, can run the ball, keep that momentum going, keep those chains rolling, stay ahead of those chains, and not make stupid penalties and have 2nd and 40, then I think we got a good shot on Saturday again.
I feel like we're the higher-ranked team, but honestly, across the board, I think we're better. And call me crazy, at the beginning of the season, I would never said that. But you got to remember, they're hurting that secondary, and we've ran the ball. The last 3 games, we have ran the ball convincingly. TCU, Oklahoma, KU, and I guarantee Texas is preparing to stop the run. And I got a feeling that K-State's going to throw out some tight ends, double tights. We're going to throw the ball around a little bit and kind of catch Texas off balance because I don't think the linebackers can run with our tight ends. And the safeties can't compete with our receivers if we put 4 guys on the field. I think it'd be a good mix. I could be wrong, but don't be surprised if you see K-State kind of spread the ball around a little bit because the last 3 games, the film they got is Scholar in the running game taking advantage of whoever stepped up. Will the running game still be successful? Most definitely. But I think it'll be a little more passing this week against Texas, and it'll be fun to see how things work out. So I'm anxious. I'm excited for the guys, and I'm hoping for a big victory.
Yeah, I would love to know the health status of Gilbert and Brown.
Yeah.
I think if we have both of them or even one of them, I think especially Gilbert. I think if we can get Gilbert back, that run game's got a really good shot of being successful.
Right.
Because I don't want to. I mean, this Texas defensive front is going to be.
Oh, there's some horses.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bigger and a little faster than what we saw on Saturday.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I hope we can get Gilbert back because I think if we do, we got a pretty good shot to run the ball effectively. And nothing. Trotter did a great job. I just think Gilbert's got a little extra gear and a little more physicality through the hole. And I hope he's back because I think we're going to have to run the ball against Texas to be successful.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. And also, and before we move forward, I'm not sure what his status is, and hopefully A.J. Parker will be back for Saturday.
Yeah, I saw him in a boot after the game. That was the only thing I've seen. So.
Yeah, so they say they think it's a hot sprain. That's not for sure, and that's nothing verified. That's what I saw in the media. But getting him back would be huge because he's definitely a leader in the secondary. And against Texas, any help in the secondary we can get, we can use. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep. And what Texas open up here? 4-point favorite, I think, is what I saw, if I remember correctly.
That might be right, yeah.
4-point favorite. Kind of see how that line moves throughout the week. But I don't know. If I'm K-State, it's a little disrespected. We're ranked 20.
That's what we want. We want to be disrespected.
Yeah,
hey, it's Texas. Texas is Texas, and it's a brand, and no matter how good or how bad they are, they still can get respect, and we're K-State. Ask Les Miles, we're K-State.
Texas is one of those teams that if you jump on them early, they'll fold early.
Right.
That's
exactly.
how they always were with me.
So true.
And even like through a season, like if they lose early, then they're all NFL guys, so they start playing not to get hurt.
Yep.
And if you jump on them early in the game, they can kind of just throw it in. So hopefully K-State can get off to a hot start again.
2:30 game.
2:30 a game again.
Yep.
I will. I'll be able to see that. We'll be out in Hayes, America, shooting some pheasants. Pheasants opener this weekend, baby.
There you go.
I know. I'll get you on some pheasants this year.
There you go.
So that's a big tradition here in Kansas. So excited for that. We'll be able to catch football, still catch the game, go hunt that morning, catch the game in the afternoon. So it'll be a great weekend for me. I love playing Texas. B, I love beating Kansas. And C, I love shooting pheasants. So I'm going to have a good 8-day window.
Good living, man. Good living.
Good living. Well, who we got bringing on here in just a second?
We're going to call up a good buddy of mine, played together, came in together as freshmen. He's a local Kansas kid, stud back in his day. From Chapman, Kansas. We're bringing back linebacker DeShawn Fogle. So I'm anxious to see how things are going. I talk to him often, but I'm anxious to have him on and kind of talk to him a little bit. So that's what we're going to bring up here in a second.
The Tannahill and Spiller Powercat Podcast is sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. The Fridge is your source for all of your tailgate and party needs. The Powercat Podcast will be right back.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's here to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 15% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast. Diets and workouts, you've done the work, so why can't you get to your goal weight? That's because up to 70% of your weight is predetermined by your genetics. So while you've been told that it's all about your willpower, you're actually fighting your biology. Don't do it alone. Found's Doctor Design program uses medication as part of a treatment plan that targets your body's unique biological needs, so that your body works with you and not against you. Take the quiz at joinfound.com to see if Found's weight loss program is right for you.
And now we return to the Tannahill and Spiller Powercat Podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
Welcome back. We got DeShawn here on the line. Monte, I'll let you bring him on. Kind of obviously one of your teammates, classmates. So
yeah.
Tell us who we got here today.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, thanks for agreeing to be here. You know, Travis and I were talking, big week for K-State football. We just had the Sunflower Showdown, or I like to call it the Sunflower Smackdown, because K-State took it to KU fairly well. What's going on with you right now? I know. So before our listeners, tell us what's going on with you. Where you at now? What are you doing? What's happening with DeShawn Fogle?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I am back in Manhattan, Kansas, lovely Manhattan, Kansas, after about almost 20 years away. Just kind of been all over the country. I was active duty military for a while. My wife was active duty military for a while, but my wife's from the area, so when that time was getting ready to run down, we decided we wanted to come back. So we're back here in Manhattan. I'm currently a school counselor in Junction City at the high school. Been doing that for this is my second year, and loving it, man. Coaching a little bit of high school football, as you know, and just trying to make it.
Right. So how I know you're coaching over at JC. How's the season going? I know the playoffs started this past Friday. I was talking to Trav earlier. At the school I coach at, we weren't as fortunate to advance. How's JC doing?
We're doing all right, man. We had a good game last Friday. Was able to get our offense going. Defense played pretty well, and we were able to get the stuff done that we needed to get done. So we get to move on to the next round. We got a long trip coming up Friday, heading down to Dodge City to play the undefeated, I think, the Red Demons. So we're really looking forward to that game. We're just trying to get our stuff right and try to get as far as we can, taking them one game at a time.
Fun. DeShawn, real quick, just out of curiosity, you don't hear a lot of guys playing Division I football and then going the military route. How did that kind of come about, and how'd you decide to go down that route? And obviously, goes without saying, thanks for your service and keeping everyone back home safe. But kind of just talk me through that. You hear the Army guys who go to Army to play football and then go, but you don't really hear that coming from the normal schools per se. So kind of talk us through that.
Sure, absolutely. I grew up. I was a military kid. My father was in the Army, and I traveled all over the world, and it was something that was kind of innate in me. Growing up with that lifestyle, and actually, probably my first week or so on campus, there was some big thing in the union where they had all the clubs and everything. And I'm walking through, and I actually stopped by the ROTC table and asked a few questions. And I think at the time I didn't think I could do both, be ROTC and play college football. So I said, okay, I'll just be a normal student, play ball, and then see what happens from there. Graduated, and my wife, as I mentioned earlier, she was active duty Air Force, and we were able to get our first assignment in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I got my degree in undergrad in business and decided to do something that a lot of people do when they get their degrees. They do something totally different. I wound up working for the City of Cheyenne Parks and Recreation Department, and being the guy that was running all the sports leagues in the city. And that was fun. But there was something still kind of innate in me and me wanting to pursue. So one day I walked into my boss and I said, hey, I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice. And he's like, well, why are you doing that? I said, well, I'm going to go join the Air Force. So I went and put my packet in, got accepted to officer training school, went off and did that for about 3 months. And then I was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess that's kind of about how I expected it to go down. I figured you had some ROTC interest, and growing up here, growing up over in Chapman, that makes total sense. Being a military kid, and I had a brother in the military, and I might have gone down that route if football didn't start calling. But again, thank you. That's I know I greatly appreciate that. So coming back, what'd you say? A couple years back in Manhattan or Chapman, Junction City area?
Yeah, a couple of years, yeah.
Awesome, and enjoying. I know that's a big thing for this town and this state is how do we keep more people in the state, in Kansas City at least, not going to Chicago and Dallas. Kind of what brought you back? You enjoying it, loving it, and kind of how's the transition been coming back to Manhattan a handful of years later?
Well, like I said, my her parents live in Milford, so we're familiar with it, and we were coming to the end of our tours, and she wanted to get back and be close to family, so we started looking at ROTC jobs at universities, and K-State had an opening. I was getting ready to be medically retired, so I'm like, we can go wherever you want. K-State opportunity open, and my wife was able to get a position over there as an ROTC instructor, so she finished up her 20 years over at Kansas State University. And I would say probably the biggest thing was just how much this town has changed over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And, there are buildings where there were no buildings, there are roads where there were no roads, and there are homes where there were no homes. And it's just interesting how much this place has grown. Back then it was called the Little Apple, and it's still called that, but it's a lot more city-like. It's impressive. Even now after being back for a little bit, driving around, I'm just like, man, I remember when that was just a field. It's interesting. So, but other than that, man, we've been back and we're comfortable. The kids are in school, everything's going great, and right now I can't think of any other place I'd rather be.
Right. Trav and I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. How we did. It's funny how as you get older, priorities change. For me, when I graduated, I couldn't wait to get out of Manhattan, and now I've been here, almost 8 years, I want to say, coming back, and I love it. And I'm like you, and we see each other at least once a week, and it's one of those things where it's a family-oriented place. It's crazy how things have changed and it's grown. So let me ask you this, and going back to our years when we played, you being a Kansas kid per se, graduating high school from here, give us, I guess, and I got an idea, but I want you to tell us, what is your most memorable K-State Sunflower Showdown memory from your playing years?
It's probably my first one, 1993. Even graduating from Kansas high school, I was kind of imported due to the military, so I didn't really understand the significance of the Sunflower Showdown until you actually get in prep for it. As you know, all the games are important, but for some reason that KU prep week is just a little bit different than all the other weeks. And probably that first win, my first, Sunflower Showdown win, and actually I got an opportunity to play a significant part in that. I just remember being, didn't have to redshirt. I'm playing as a true freshman, and I don't know, I think KU was on probably the 3-yard line going in, and I just remember making a solo tackle at the 1-yard line, keeping them out of the end zone, and we wound up winning that game 10-9, I think. And it's just, that has resonated with me, over 20 years now.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember I redshirted that year, but I remember being on the sideline and thinking, we were up and coming, and I think KU might have been favored that game. I don't even remember, but I remember watching you play and a couple other guys and just thinking to myself, hey, it's something special here at K-State. Now, with that being said, I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to watch the game Saturday, but what is your thoughts on this year's current team, Coach Kleiman, and the linebackers that they have? What are your thoughts on those guys?
I'm extremely impressed with what is going on at that place. When Coach Snyder retired, I know there was a lot of talk in the community about who was going to replace him. Everybody had their pick. But when they hired Coach Kleiman, I just knew that he was the right fit. I had been following North Dakota State, I think, right after they came here, and I think it was 2013, and beat us coming off a Big 12 championship. And I'm like, that place is legit. That coaching staff is legit. So I had opportunity to watch games over the years, and when they hired him, I'm like, this guy is going to bring something. And it's interesting because I think it's the starting left tackle, Mr. France there. He was a student teacher at Junction City High School last year, and I had an opportunity to sit down and talk to him a few times. And I would ask him, what was the vibe like in the building? Did things change? And he would just tell me it was just different. And I just remember watching those first 2-3 games and noticing, and my buddies, we would talk about it afterwards. I'm like, there's something different going on. You can just see it in the product that's on the field. Not that there was anything wrong with what was there before, but you just notice a different bounce, a different intensity, and watching these guys just run around, fly around, and it looked like they were enjoying playing the game of football. And to me, that seems to be the biggest difference between this team and the team that was there last year. Same guys, just something about the attitude and the way those guys are, like I said, flying around. It was like they're having fun playing the game.
Good. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, DeShawn. And I'll follow that up with kind of a two-part question on that. And I think from what we've been told is, all three of us played under a Coach Snyder. It was a very strict, rigid, structured program, where Coach Kleiman's program is a little more the players take responsibility, kind of your players, your classic players coach, and the players decide how good they want to be, because he's not going to babysit them. The players decide where they're going to be. So first off, military or Coach Snyder, who was harder? And second off, does that worry you at all that we got 18-year-old men who got a little longer leash, and with success, will that come back to bite this program in the butt?
Well, I will tell you, between the military and Coach Snyder.
I always thought that, but I had no way to prove it. I was like, there's no way the military is harder than this.
And I told anybody that would listen to me while I was active duty that everything that I learned under him and garnered prepped me for what was happening in the military. Even, spending time in Iraq, it was a big deal, but I felt like I was prepared just from the things I learned when I was in that program. And if you could for me, just, having, I think it's okay. I think it's okay to allow these 18, 19-year-old guys to start learning how to make decisions on their own. I think it's okay, because I think you could run into a situation where when you have too tight of a hold, you got guys who want to probably do some things they shouldn't do just because they feel like I'm being suffocated. And usually what happens when people start feeling suffocated, they try to fight. They fight back. So I think Coach Kleiman allowing these guys a little bit of leeway to make their own decisions, all that's going to do is just make them better in the long run.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. I know you're aware that we beat KU, and with the win that made us bowl eligible, put us at 6-2, and we have the game against Texas coming up, and it's a lot on the line. Trav and I kind of touched on it earlier in the show. We don't want to look ahead, but if we can find a way to beat Texas at Texas, looking at the Red Sox schedule, there's a strong possibility we could possibly be playing for a Big 12 championship if Oklahoma loses to a Baylor, and with that head-to-head against Oklahoma, that will put us at the number 2 spot, assuming Baylor will win out. What are your thoughts about the team moving forward against Texas? Are you confident that we can go down there and beat Texas? Because Texas is kind of down right now, but they still are Texas. And what are your thoughts on the opportunities that are ahead for the K-State team?
I think the opportunities are high. I think if this team, they're playing with a lot of confidence. You saw that coming out of the TCU game. You saw it kind of get bigger during the Oklahoma game, and obviously you saw what happened last weekend. If they continue to play with confidence, continue doing the right things, there's no reason why they can't go down to Austin and be successful. And that's any week. And I'm hoping that they are focused on what's in front of them. I think I read an article just the other day about how it's important that Coach Kleiman makes sure he keeps those guys focused on what's directly in front of them. And the sky's the limit. As long as they keep playing with confidence and they're having fun, they can do whatever they want to do.
Right. Now, and let me ask you this, and we'll let you go. I know we talked about it. It's been a couple of games yet, and you and I played during the same time for Coach Snyder. What were your thoughts? And for me personally, I was a little jealous. But what were your thoughts on the white helmets and the white pants when they had a chance to rock those? What were you thinking? I was jealous. I'm like, hey, them dudes are lucky, and it looked good to me. What were your thoughts on the alternative uniforms?
I'm like any college football fan. I'm like you. I was upset. I was angry. I'm like, how cool is that? But that's just the nature of the game now. Everybody's got 20 or 30 uniform combos. But that's what keeps the kids excited. That's what makes the kids want to come here. I'm trying to figure out how to get one of those white helmets. Just tell me what to order, how much I need to pay. It's exciting. That's just one. This is another thing that points out to how this program is evolving and changing. So.
Right. No, and it's funny, I was watching the game Saturday, and KU has how many combinations? It's ridiculous.
A lot.
But I'm saying, you picked the ugliest jerseys for the Sunflower Showdown to wear against K-State. They had the gray jerseys with the blue sleeve and the white sleeve, and red sleeve, and then you look at our guys in our traditional road white with the silver pants and the silver helmet, and I'll take that any day over what KU had on. So as much as I love the white helmets and the white pants, our traditional home and away jerseys still classic in my eyes, but it'd be cool to get some different every now and again. So
I agree. I thought something was wrong with my TV. I'm like, is that a blue sleeve? Is that really a red sleeve? But yeah, whatever they needed to do. But like I said, I agree with you. Our classic stuff, it still, makes me tear up when I see that stuff. So
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. So, hey, we're going to let you go, but hey, I appreciate you taking time out to talk with us today. Good luck on the rest of the season with JC. Take care of that long drive down to Dodge City, and thank you for taking time.
Hey, thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thanks, DeShawn. Tell Coach Zim hey for us.
Will do.
Awesome. Thanks, DeShawn Fogle. Good guy. I didn't know he was back in town.
Yeah, he's been back a couple of years now. I ran into him a couple of years back. I see him and his wife at the gym often. And great family. He has a daughter and a son, and very active. Like I said, he's a counselor at JC and coaching out there. And I know the kids love him as a coach, and they soak it in because Guy was a phenomenal player, and even better coach and a great person. And with his football and his military background, I know kids take the opportunity to learn from him, and if they don't, shame on them. So
no, I'm probably one of my favorite parts about doing this podcast with you is like getting to talk to these guys that are different generations, different era. No, kind of. There's a bunch of Golden Cat stuff that goes on, but still, there's plenty of guys that I played with that I haven't seen in a year or two. So I go hang out with them, and you just kind of naturally happens. So it's super fun to talk to these wiser Wildcats, not older, just wiser, and kind of reconnect with them and find guys that are in the area to link up with. So that's always a fun part. And I hope you listeners enjoy hearing from those guys because really, you guys did build the foundation. And that's what's been so cool about this Coach Kleiman is that, and I think he appreciates that, and the players appreciate it, and the fans appreciate it. To go into a program like KU and be left with nothing,
man.
Or to come into a program like K-State where you're left with a 500 ball club, and with a little bit of work, we can get that up to an 8, 9, 10 win team.
Yeah, and the thing about I try not to show my bias, but how can you not love a program, a community? And regardless, you can hate K-State, you can be a KU fan, you can be a Missouri fan, whatever. But you have, if you're realistic about it, how can you not appreciate the city of Manhattan, the Kansas State University experience, the football program, the family, the history of Coach Snyder from 88, 89, moving forward, President Weefall, all the integral people that have been part of K-State, that what makes K-State football now. If you don't have a deep appreciation for it, you need to take a step back and look at it, because me as a former player, you as a former player, we're family men now, married, and in the workforce. But this is a huge part of our daily living.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on the internet talking to people, K-State football, year-round. So it's one of those things where I'm fortunate, I'm blessed to be part of the K-State family, and I love being back in Manhattan.
Yeah, you and me both. And I think what the cherry on the top for all that is, it just seems like K-State, we do it the right way.
Yeah. And
it might take a little longer. We might, have our highs and lows, and we might have, a down year last year, but we do it the right way. I mean, we work hard. We do it with guys who are going to be good guys, good people, good students, good citizens. I mean, Bruce Weber's over there working his tail off, hitting the recruiting trail, got a top recruiting class coming in this year, and it just proves if you do it the right way every single day. And Coach Snyder's motto and Coach Kleiman's motto, just win the dang, get a little better. That's all you got to do, which is so true.
Yeah.
And if you keep doing that, you'll wind up on top and where you want to be in life. And I know I've taken all those lessons and all those messages to my career, and you as well, to parenting and everything. So It's I don't know. I just love what this university stands for, and what especially this athletic program, and how. I'm never worried about getting embarrassed by anything that happens in this university.
No.
So,
and if there are any incidents where somebody does the wrong thing, our coaches take care of it the right way, right away. So we never worry about
we saw the one over the summer. And
exactly.
Shoot.
Exactly. Yep.
One strike, you gone.
Yep. Hey, we told you. So
yeah, I mean.
Well, hopefully this time next week we'll be 7-2.
Shoot, that sounds good.
That sounds real good.
Which, by the way, for the record, I predicted on air, on a recording, 8 wins for K-State.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. I'd love to change it to 9 or 10.
I hope you're wrong.
I'd love to change it to 9 or 10, because realistically, I think we can hit 9.
I agree.
And there's nothing saying we can't hit 10. So.
Yep. So, no, man, I'm excited about the game. Good luck to the fellas, the guys that got banged up this past week. Get healthy, safe travels down to Austin, and let's go get a win.
Shoot, let's do it. Go Cats.
Hurry up.
You've been listening to the Tannahill and Spiller Powercat Podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.
With Blue Link Plus, you can access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found.
There it is.
Get complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.